Learn how to deliberately trigger and handle an error state in a promise using the .catch method. In this example, we are going to see how we can create a pre-rejected promise that contains a message and then display it on the screen. So let's go into the code and see how we can do that together. Here's my boilerplate code, and we're going to be making use of a promise.reject method. So these are something that has been provided in the language, and you just make use of them when you need them. It's not like you are building them from the scratch. So I have a couple of things here in the script sections. Add a function called my displayer, create a promise reject, because this time we are dealing with reject. Add the then and catch method to the promise, then display the result. So I'll go ahead and make the function which is going to be responsible for displaying my output at the end of the day. Document.get element by id demo.inner html demo.inner html equals to so. So now that I have this function, just like promise.resolve method is a shortcut to instant success. Promise.reject is a shortcut to instant failure. If you want to test something directly in its failure state, so you use promise.reject. It's an instant shortcut to it. So it's you just used to simulate a problem. Like maybe you are browsing, there could be times when you are browsing and you are seeing something like something went wrong. Maybe the web page stopped displaying information to you, or your app crashed or something. So you can use it to simulate a problem like when there's a lost internet connection or a wrong password, or you want to test actually if you have a backup plan to see that the .catch method is working properly. So that is the usefulness of this promise.reject method. So I'll go ahead now and make a promise. Let's promise. So this first one is a variable. You can see the way I'm writing it. So the actual one for constructor of the reject method is this. You can see. So let me just pass a simple string and say something went wrong. So now I can then use this alongside the then and catch method. Function value. Then where I can call my displayer. And once I have done that, I can take what I have in front as well, and then move on and use then catch again in order to catch error. So the first one will fire if the action is successful, and this will fire if there's an error. So the same thing, I want to check for error, and now you can see that on the screen this is displaying something went wrong. Now, even though if I change this to resolve, because you have just one variable to check for, it's still going to, show the same thing, but it will fire this and not this. But because we are using the same thing, so I will revert it back to reject, and it's still going to show us text. So the difference is just that if you change this to resolve, it will fire this first part. And when you change it to reject, then it will skip this and move to this. So I give you an output. So a promise reject is a shortcut to create a promise that skip the pending state and go straight to rejected, which is the .catch part that you see. When a promise rejects, JavaScript stop moving down the normal path and alt that the nearest .catch method block to handle the issue. And the reason is because good programs don't just plan for success. They use promises or rejections to gracefully tell the user when something goes wrong, instead of letting the website crash. Personally, me, I've visited pages, I've visited websites where I try to take action. Then the next thing I see is maybe it's a text that simply says something went wrong or something is wrong on our hand or something, those kind of things. So they are very common, especially when there is a loss of internet connection or poor internet connectivity. So that is one of the usefulness of this the reject promise reject method that you can see here. Now, if there's an error, you might want to ask that why does my displayer still run if we have an error? Well, my displayer runs because we explicitly call it inside the catch block. You can see that we are calling it inside the catch block. So the error didn't break our script. This place just catch it successfully and decided to print the error message on the screen, which is what you can see here. An illustration will be like this. Imagine you try to swipe your card at a vending machine, but your bank instantly declines it, or you try to use your card maybe for an online payment or transaction and your bank instantly declines it. The machine doesn't drop a snack. Just then method instead, it instantly lights up a red box that says card decline. And even online, it doesn't mean maybe if you have added something to cart, it will automatically wipe those items in the cart. But it will just give you a response that your card is declined, maybe by your issuer or, whatever the problem might be at that particular point in time. Now, if you look at this script, we are basically forcing an error using the promise dot reject. And notice how the code inside this method dot then completely gets ignored this time. So this wouldn't get to run at all because JavaScript will skip it and move to this place. So the error message then travels straight inside our screen, as you can see. You can see that if I change what we have here, something went wrong. Let's say I change it to let's look, all is good. All is good. Is there any good? You can see this has changed. Which block do you think just ran now? It is this part, this dot then block. This is what ran just now, and this is ignored. And that is why you can see all is good. But if I just change this back to something went wrong. Something went wrong. Then it will skip this and move directly to this place. And there's a mistake in the earlier example. So let me revert and clear it. So an error just all is good should go alongside with this, which will resolve and not just reject. So when I have it like this, then this block will run. And when I have it the other way around, reject, something went wrong, then this will fire, which is the dot catch method that we have under this. So promise.reject creates an instant failure state. You can use it to simulate a problem or what will happen or to test for a specific scenario. So rejected promises cause JavaScript to skip .then method and execute .catch method. Handling rejection prevents your app from freezing when error occurs. So in asynchronous programming, breaking gracefully is as important as your code working perfectly because you cannot tell what will happen from the end of the users that are using it. So it's always a very good practice to, handle those specific situation or scenario that might come up as users are interacting with your web app or your app or whatever it is that you've built into your application.